you know where your heart is? Know where your heart is now.
So Innersha, tell us about yourself.
Well, first of all, my name is Kristen Bessemer, aka K-BEZ.
Oh, I like that.
Thank you so much. And I was born and raised in Brantford, Ontario. And basically, like ever since I was 3 years old, I've always wanted to be a singer.
Wow, that's young.
It was super young, and I always felt that it was my destiny to be a successful singer-songwriter. So growing up, my parents always listened to a lot of classic rock and country and pop, anywhere from Tom Petty to Shania Twain to Ace of Base was also another one of my
What a
favorites as well.
variety.
Totally. I always loved all kinds of music. And as well as my babysitters, they actually had their own karaoke business called the Rockin' Rivers with their parents.
Oh, nice.
So they'd come over and my brother Justin and I would like sing all night long and had a blast doing
I'd
it.
always want to be babysat.
It was super fun all the
Yeah.
time, not gonna lie. From there, I was in a lot of choirs. I did poem enrichments when I was younger in elementary schools.
Oh, wow.
And I love to write. And I didn't know how to write songs, but at the time it was more poem set, different
Based.
things like poem based and
Yeah.
whatnot. From there, I did a lot of singing competitions. And I even competed in Canadian Idol when I was 16 years old.
Quite the experience, I bet.
It was. My mom made me go into it, and it was honestly like the best experience ever. There was about 10,000 people, and I was sitting there waiting in line with my mom, and all these amazing singers were just practicing around me, camping out almost.
Yeah.
It was super cool. And I made top 400 out of 10,000. So
Well, I can see why. I'm quite the fan of your music.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Do you know where your heart is?
How did you get started in the music industry?
Well, it all started when my brother self-taught himself to guitar. He was in his teenage years at the time, and I was absolutely thrilled when he came home and told me that he could play guitar, showed me that.
Because you're like, great, now I have a guitarist.
Well, having a dream as a singer-songwriter and then your brother comes home playing guitar is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I bet.
So at that point, we actually started writing our own music, and the first song we wrote in 15 minutes, I swear. It was awesome, and it was called Change, and it's a song about believing in yourself, which is actually on YouTube, so you can actually find it there too.
Oh, I like that.
I'm lost in this world, and there's nothing I can do, and nothing ever changes, and everything remains the same, yes, same as today, yeah.
After high school, I was accepted into Travis Institute for Entertainment Management. Now, most kids in high school, they're going off to be doctors or, whatever, PSWs and my dream was always music. So I thought, hey, if I'm going to do anything, I might as well get into the management aspect of things and learn how to manage myself. And, my songs weren't anywhere near to be done, but I figured this is a great start to learn contracts and everything else I needed to get my
Smart
my
for
own
your
music.
success.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So my
Agreed.
brother came and lived with me for a while, and it was a really awesome experience.
Oh, roomies.
Yeah, it was so fun. We spent a lot of time just playing our music during the evening after school, and meeting some amazing people, even teachers that I still have connection to today, which was awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, it was absolutely awesome. A couple years later, after I moved back home, life kind of took a turn for the worse. My brother, he actually got in trouble with the law, which is not his first occasion. He had struggled with things before in his past. And July 30th, 2007, he took his own life.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Life was definitely different from there on. I wasn't really sure how I was going to move forward. My family was devastated, obviously. I lost my best friend, and at that point, I didn't really know how to move forward. My biggest dream was music, and my brother was obviously a part of that. And the biggest thing for me was that we didn't have any of our songs recorded. So I didn't know how to play guitar at the time.
Yeah.
I wasn't really sure how I would move forward and play the songs that we had wrote together. All I had was melody and lyrics. So I was devastated, completely
Yeah.
devastated. And I
Well,
wasn't-
you had quite a relationship with him.
I did.
That
We were-
most people do have with their siblings.
Yeah, I was really close to him. And of course, any other brother and sister would fight all their
Yeah.
years of growing up.
Oh, yes.
But playing music, it was the one thing that really brought us together. So
Your connection, for
it was.
sure.
It was. About a year to the month after that, I found out I was pregnant. I was 22 years old, and that was another really crazy thing that happened because here I'm 22 years old. I
Right.
still feel like a child. I can't really take care of myself. I had no idea what I was going to do with my future. I knew that music was always my dream, but at that point, I wasn't really sure how that was even possible. And I wasn't really sure how I was going to raise a child after that as well.
Right.
But with family support and the support of my son's father, who's a great father, by the way, my son was born February 27th, 2009, and his name's Xavier Michael Justin, after my brother.
I like that.
Thank you so much. Xavier actually means savior. That's what I named him after, and he literally is the savior of our lives. He brought so much hope and just light into our
And
life.
energy.
Energy.
I bet,
He
yes.
gave us a new hope for life again.
And family's a great support. Absolutely.
Definitely, my family was over the moon about it, and it's funny how everything kind of works itself out. And my son really taught me how to love unconditionally and to thrive to follow my dreams, because I knew that when he was older, all I wanted him to do was believe in himself and believe that anything is possible if he believes in himself.
And that's great advice.
Thank you so much. And then when he was about 6 months old, I went out one night and I ran into an old friend named Jason Inberg.
Okay.
And he had played with my brother and I years before, actually. So we had some jam sessions where we just
Little trio.
yeah, it was awesome. There was a few of us that played, just jamming around, whatever.
Right.
And he had said, "Hey, we should get together and collaborate sometime."
Right.
So I was totally excited because I hadn't played music in a really long time. I'll never forget the day that I went over to his house and I walked downstairs to his basement, and from a distance all I could hear was the songs that my brother and I wrote together.
Oh, wow. What a moment that must have been, truly.
I really can't explain the moment. It was like literally serendipity. Thinking that all these years have passed, I'll never be able to play these songs again, and to hear them again, it was almost like everything that had happened in the past all made sense again. Like I
Right.
was directed to exactly where I was supposed to be.
Right. I like that.
Thank you. From there on, Jay and I played together for about 7 years. I managed our band, Innersha. We went through a lot of bandmates, but again, we just kept going through the motions.
Right.
We stuck together all the way through. We opened for a lot of great, amazing acts like Juno-winning Crystal Shawanda, award winner Jace Martin. We also did an acoustic show with Brian Byrne from I Mother Earth with Flood the Sun, which
Wow, yes.
actually, it was absolutely amazing. I can't even tell you how amazing that was. And then Daniel Wesley, and we also played a festival with David Wilcox.
Oh, nice. Did you get to meet him?
No, we didn't.
Oh, well, there's always time.
I hope so,
Your
yeah.
paths will cross.
I always loved all the songs, so hopefully in the future I'll get to
For sure.
meet him as well. And at that time, Jay and I really had something going, and I felt like, hey, this is the road to all of our dreams coming true.
Do you know where your heart is?
Tell us about your first EP, Know Where Your Heart Is.
Okay, so Know Where Your Heart Is was a song that Jay and I wrote many years ago, and it was kind of a cool experience with that. He had sent me this answering machine message with this riff saying, "I'm so excited about this riff. I can't wait for you to hear it."
Aww.
That's sort of how we always wrote music when we weren't together. He would
Okay.
send music over his phone, and I would write back, and then we'd get together and then we'd create a song. So Know Where Your
Wow.
Heart Is kind of came from that.
That's
which
a
is-
nice collaboration.
Yeah,
You
it was
like the
super cool.
writing, he does the instrumental part.
Exactly. So it's super awesome. that's where Know Where Your Heart Is came from. And then after we wrote so many songs, we decided to go to our friend Trevor's father's house, Con,
Okay.
who lived in Sarnia, and do our first recording. And it was like a
Oh,
home
that's
studio.
exciting.
It was so exciting. It was awesome. We went to Sarnia. We spent a couple days there, sang our hearts out, and obviously played our hearts out, and lost my voice after the second day as well.
I guess that's quite a stretch.
It was, but it was super fun and a really great experience. And I think it was on the way home or a day later. I'm not really sure because it's been so long. But we got a message from a professional producer who had listened to my song called Change that I wrote with my brother.
Okay.
That I did a video with Jay on YouTube with, and he had reached out saying, "Hey, come to Toronto. Let me record one of your songs."
That's fantastic, truly. You just finish at a studio and then you get a call from a producer.
Yeah, it was really awesome. So of course we took the opportunity. We went down to Toronto and we decided to record Know Where Your Heart Is.
Oh, of course.
Because that was our fun pop song
Right.
that we really loved. And we were blown away. Like it was absolutely awesome. It was professional, and we couldn't believe how he made us sound.
Wow, that's incredible.
It was incredible. So from there, we decided to record 3 more songs, which was we did Free, Forsaken, and Guilty,
Okay.
and just make it a demo version. And we started to build a relationship with this producer over the next couple of years. He became our really close friend.
Right.
And we decided, hey, let's do an EP. Let's go into a real studio and record everything like professionally.
Right.
Let's do these 4 songs pro and
Smart.
and launch
Next
as
step.
what we wanted to as our career. So
Right.
that's what our next step was. So like I said, we became really close with him and things were going really great. We decided to launch our song Know Where Your Heart Is February 14th, which is Valentine's Day, of course.
Oh, of course.
It all
the
makes
heart.
sense, right? And the night before our release party, we got an email sending us the song that we were supposed to release, and it was absolutely horrid. It was something that we totally couldn't use, and we were devastated because here we are at band practice at the time,
Right.
and the next day we have our single release party, and we get this song that we thought was going to be completely finished, professional, and it was something that we couldn't use at all.
Just threw you both for a loop. I
It
bet.
did. It did. It was really upsetting. So we had to sort of think fast. Like, what are we going to do? We have this
Right.
party tomorrow night. What are we going to do
Right.
to move forward? So a friend of mine, Kyle Furlong, who always saves me, I swear.
We all have those friends.
He's one
like
of those
Kyle.
guys.
Yes.
I had messaged him saying, "Hey, like, can you record our demo version of Know Where Your Heart Is on a CD
Right.
and print as many as you can and bring them tomorrow?" And what we ended up doing was just basically selling those CDs. Actually, I think we gave them out for free.
Okay.
Nobody had any idea what happened. We didn't tell our story to anyone. We just decided, hey, we're going to move forward. We're going to do
Right.
this party. It was a great turnout. We had tons of people there. Of course, inside we're dying because
Right.
nobody else knew what we were going through at the time. But we had to move forward. We had to
Right.
persevere.
Rise above.
Exactly.
Do you know where your heart is?
So from there, for the next couple of years, Jay and I were very bitter and angry. We went through a lot of different emotions of sadness, different emotions, like I
Yes.
said. And then we decided, you know what, let's just forgive and move forward. And we decided to go to a state-of-the-art studio called Jacosset in Oswego.
Okay.
Which is not far at all from
Right.
where we are. And we met up with Darren Magarowski, who is the Juno winner of the Sheepdogs and July Talk, as well as
Oh,
this amazing
wow.
blues player. And we met with him and Jill and decided, let's finish this EP. Let's
Right.
do it the
Let's
right
keep
way.
going. Yes.
Even though it's taken 5 years.
Yes.
So we went there, and it was a great, humbling experience. They were amazing people, like such real individuals.
Right.
And they let us be ourselves and just let us record the music exactly how we had, basically wrote it,
Right.
which was great.
Right.
So we invited different artists or different musicians to come in and help us. A mandolin and fiddle player. We had backup singers.
Wow.
different pro musicians who came in and helped with the whole
Right.
4 songs, which is absolutely incredible, as well as some of our previous band members that were a part of it as well. So
Sounds like a great team you had that day.
it was incredible, and I was really excited. I was like, okay, finally, things are moving forward.
Right.
Maybe our dreams are coming true. That's what I thought.
Right. Like, this is it. This is
it.
meant to be.
It's all coming
Yes.
together finally. So after we recorded, Jay decided that he would no longer be with Innersha, which was
Okay.
totally heartbreaking, of course. But he wanted to start his own family and start a new path of life,
Right.
which I can totally understand, and I couldn't be more happy for him. So moving forward, I was like, okay, like, what do I have to do now?
Right.
Now that I've lost him, lost my brother,
Right.
it's kind of like one of those moments where you're like, now what?
Right.
So instead, I decided to persevere again and go solo, continue my brother's legacy. And I thought, hey, I can go solo. I can hire backup musicians to help me with, different shows and whatnot. And I'm just going to push through, and I'm going to do everything that I set out to do. And the next step is doing my Know Where Your Heart Is official video, which is all about acts of kindness. It's something that I've been creating in my mind for about
Right.
2 years now,
And you see a lot more of that too.
which is great.
Yes.
So I definitely want to bring the love out and inspire others to believe in themselves, and most importantly in their dreams and whatnot. And now this is a new era for
Right.
Innersha. So I'm solo, and like I said, just living my brother's legacy as well as
And I'm
Jay's.
very excited for your journey to see how it carries on.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Do you
too.
know where your heart is?
So you're raising money for suicide prevention. How are you going to do that?
Yeah, so mental health has always been a huge part of my life. My brother struggled with a lot of mental illness when he was growing up, in his childhood. My uncle, who took his life as well, and many friends too, who took their life to suicide.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you very much. It's been a hard few years with dealing with that. As well as myself, like, I've suffered from a lot of seasonal depression and anxiety over the years, and learned to cope with it within myself.
Right.
So what I wanted to do is give 10% back to somebody who is going to actually do something to help people in
Right.
a personal level. I know that there's a lot of mental illness units out there where they put somebody in a hospital, and they have a bunch of doctors and they give them prescriptions and whatnot. And for me, that's just not something that's going to help somebody.
You like the one-on-one and
Yeah, like, I really think that it's a lot deeper than
Right.
something that anyone can
I
do
agree.
that.
I agree.
But that's just my personal opinion. So Ned and Lisa, who I met a couple years ago, decided to start their own semicolon event. They have their own tattoo shop in Dorchester.
Okay.
For the last 2 years, they've done a huge event where they have had different artists give tattoos for semicolons and be love.
Right.
And it's all about just that your story is not ending, your story is not over. So suicide survivors, or in memory of other suicide, or people who have died from suicide, or just believing in yourself. And that's sort of what they do. They also have a blog called youmatter.blog, which you can go online and check out. And he actually has sessions where day to day you can go and just get help day to day with issues that you're going through within yourself. And it's all about believing in yourself, which is a huge part of all my music. It's all about being positive.
Do you know where your heart is?
Thank you so much for tuning into my story. It's been a long journey of sweat and tears and trials and tribulations, but I've always made a promise to myself that I would never stop believing in my dreams and in myself. You can pre-order your Innersha EP July 30th, which is also the anniversary of my brother's passing. You can check me out on iTunes and Spotify August 25th. And if you want to go visit me online, it's INNERSHA on Facebook or Twitter, or visit me on my website, innersha.ca. Thank you again for listening.
Lucky.